Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be talking about the best fights of the top 5 Straw Hats, and we'll be ranking the fights from the least interesting to the most interesting. At 5th place, we have Frankie versus Senior Ping. Senior Ping was a member of the Don Quixote Pirates who had the Suisunami, which is a Deofru that allows him to swim through objects such as the ground and walls. This Deofru gives him stellar abilities. For example, he can launch a surprise attack, and he can also escape from a pretty tight situation by swimming through solid objects. Now, this fight with Frankie and Senior Ping was actually a manly fight because of the decision that they both took, where they decided that if someone offers you a drink in the bar, you can't reject it because it's going to be dishonorable. And the drinks that they were talking about was actually referring to the attacks that they both trained at each other. And the good thing about this is that they actually respected this decision till the very end of the fight. Frankie ended up winning though because he's a cyborg and he was much more durable than Senior Ping. Senior Ping's backstory also made this fight quite interesting because as Frankie was raining down the punches on him as his final attack, it felt like the rain that fell on the day that he met his wife and also on the day that he lost his son, and his wife went into a vegetative state in which she was unable to show any form of emotions. Now, when Senior Ping met his wife, he told his wife that he was working in a bank in which he was actually a pirate. So one day, his son got very sick and died from a disease when he was not around. His wife went to the bank to check for him, but they told his wife that Senior Ping does not work in the bank, that she's got the wrong person. Damn, that really hurts, cause when his wife needed him the most, it was when she got to learn the bitter truth about him. So the day that Senior Ping returned home, it was raining. He met his wife and his wife told him everything and asked him if he was working at the bank because she went to the bank and they told her that he wasn't working at the bank. Senior Ping was speechless, and it was clear that everything Senior Ping told her was a lie about his job and his reputation. His wife got angry and left under the rain, but she was caught up in the landslide, which is what made her to go into a vegetative state. So this just proves that telling love lies to someone you actually love and you're in a relationship with is the worst thing you can ever do, because the day that person finds out, you risk losing everything you ever built with that person. Now, Frankie defeated Senior Ping, and it was from this way of fighting that Frankie actually became Swan Brothers with Senior Ping. Coming up at 4th place, we have Jinbei versus Husu. Husu is a former CP9 agent who, after failing to protect the Gomu Gomu no Mi from Shanks, he was imprisoned. He later escaped from Impel Down and joined the Peace Pirates and became one of the Tobiropos. He had the Neko Neko no Mi, which is a Deofru that allows him to transform into a hybrid saber-toothed tiger. His Deofru greatly enhances his physical abilities, such as speed and his physical strength. He can also shoot flying pistols, which is his main attacking ability. Plus, due to the fact that he was a CP9 agent, he also knew how to use the Ryokushiki techniques. Now, why Husu was imprisoned and impaled down, he was actually being punished for the fact that he failed to protect the Gomu Gomu no Mi from Shanks. So while he was being punished, he kind of learned about the myth of Nika from one of the guards that were working in Impel Down. So they told him that he should pray for Nika to come and save him, because the torment that they were giving him was way too much and he didn't know if he was ever going to leave the prison. So during his fight with Jinbei, he started asking Jinbei if he knew anything about Nika, because of the fisherman's history of slavery and also because some of the Sun Pirates were once slaves before. But Jinbei, being the man whom he is, he refused to tell him anything. And when Husu tried to insist, he had to fight back to keep his mouth shut because there was no way he was going to stop if he did not defeat him. And this was actually fun because we got to see what he's made of, and we got to see the full strength of him, because we know that he was once a warlord after he left the Sun Pirates, and we've just been getting this hype without knowing the full potentials or without knowing how strong he is. And he actually got to prove it to us in this fight. So he used his fishman karate combined with his armament haki to keep Husu's mouth shut. He hit him with an attack called Demon Brick, which actually sent him flying, and told him that if he really wants to nose into the history of others, he should be prepared for what he's stepping into. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, this kind of sounded like a one-shot, because during the fight, Jinbei wasn't really attacking him that much, and when he did, he just left Husu speechless. Coming up at 3rd place, we have Sanji versus Queen. Queen was one of the lead performers of the Beast Pirates. He had the Ryu no Mi, which is a devil fruit that allows him to transform into a Brachiosaurus. Aside from having the devil fruit, he was a member of the Mad Scientists. He used his scientific knowledge to perform cybernetic enhancements on himself and even on his devil fruit transformation, which is something really crazy and insane because I can't even start to think of how he did it. Well, science will always surprise you. Now, George, who was Sanji's disowned father, was also a member of the Mad Scientists, and it seems like he had some kind of rivalry with Queen back in the days when they were still together. So, when George did the modification on his kids, Queen somehow managed to steal the information on how he did these modifications on his kids and applied all the special abilities of George's kids on himself. Imagine all these powers being given to one person, and you have to find that person who has your own special ability. So, when Sanji finally came to Wano, Queen was very happy that he could test all of these abilities on Sanji and kill him to actually prove to George that he's far more better than him in science. During this fight, Queen tried to force Sanji into using his raid suit so that he could fight Sanji at his full potentials. But Sanji refused and destroyed the raid suit. This got Queen very angry because he really wanted to fight Sanji in Sanji's full potentials, and he knew that without the raid suit, Sanji couldn't fight at his full potentials. Queen tried using his abilities to kill Sanji, but lucky for Sanji, he had also awakened his genetic abilities, that is, his exoskeleton, and he had also gained incredible speed. So he used his exoskeleton, which made it possible for him to support even hotter flames, to produce these blue flames, which he named it Ifrit Jambe. So he used these blue flames plus the incredible speed that he had gained to send Queen flying out of Onigashima. And plus, his observation Haki also helped him in this battle because when Queen used his ability, that is the ability of Stealth Black, which is to go invisible, he used his observation Haki to know where Queen was. Coming up at second place, we have Zoro versus Queen. Now, it's been a very long time since we last saw Zoro engage in a full-time one-on-one battle. But ever since the time skip, we know that he had made some pretty good improvements because he was training with Mihawk, which is the greatest swordsman. After Zoro fought Kaido, he was badly injured, but thanks to the drugs that the doctors from Zoo gave him, he was able to recover from that, but on a condition that all of the damage will be inflicted on him later. And the reason why he took these drugs was because Sanji could not fight King and Queen at the same time. He needed someone to help him, and there was no one left to fight King or Queen. Now, King is a Lunarian who ate the Ruru no Mi, which is a devil fruit that allows him to transform into a Pteranodon. This devil fruit grants him the ability to fly when he transforms into a Pteranodon, and it also gives him incredible speed. Aside from having this devil fruit, his Lunarian abilities was also a great source of his powers. As a Lunarian, his body was almost as hard as Kaido's, and he can ignite himself and he can produce flames that are as hot as magma. But this durability that comes from his Lunarian abilities had a weakness, and the weakness was that when the flames on his back goes off, he also becomes less durable and he gains incredible speed. Now, during this fight, Zoro tried cutting King a couple of times, but it didn't go. He even forced himself to awaken Conqueror's Haki, which he did, but it still didn't work. He later tried cutting King when the flames on his back goes off, and he discovered King's weakness. He cut King twice, and King discovered that Zoro had found out about his weakness. He decided to produce flames that were as hot as magma that he could use to defeat. But luckily for Zoro, he had learned how to cut through flames from King Emon. And this was one of the main abilities that really helped Zoro in this fight because without his ability to cut through flames, it would have really given him a hard time. Zoro then awakened King of Hell mode, which we saw for the very first time, and used it to defeat King. Coming up at first place, we have Luffy versus Kaido. Now, there's just so much insane things about Kaido. He's a Yonko. He's the strongest creature on the whole of One Piece. He's the leader of the Beast Pirates. He had mastered Conqueror's Haki to his fingertips, and he's the most durable person that we've seen in the whole of One Piece. Like, this guy has an insane level of stamina. Kaido's devil fruit grants him the ability to transform into a dragon. He also has the hybrid form, and he also has this form in which his whole dragon body gets coated with flames that are as hot as magma. Now, Luffy had to fight Kaido 3 times to be able to defeat him. He fought him the first time, he got defeated. He was imprisoned in Udon, in which he got to learn Ryu from the old man in prison. Now, he came back for a second time, fought Kaido, and still got defeated. But in this second fight, he got to learn how to use Conqueror's Haki. He came back for a third time, he fought Kaido and still got defeated, where he later awakened his Devil Fruit powers, which he then used to defeat Kaido. At the start of this fight, Luffy didn't know how to use Conqueror's Haki. He had not yet awakened his Devil Fruit. He had not yet learned about Ryu. So along the line, as he fought Kaido, he got to learn all of these three things, and he finally got to awaken his Devil Fruit, in which the limits of this awakening are limited by Luffy's own imaginations.